Hello there, Ray here, and today guys we're going to take a look at the new bartering changes implemented for 1.16.2. We will then talk about how these changes will affect you. Then we'll take a look at this auto sorter here, which is designed to sort out all the different items that come from bartering loot. And it's even able to sort out the potions as well as the enchanted books and the enchanted boots. If you guys would like to learn about the basics of bartering as well as this farm here, Bartering Bonanza, check out that video is linked in the description. And at the end of the video, I will show you guys the most efficient way to barter with piglins. It's not actually having them inside of a trading hall setup, but instead of implementing them directly inside of the farm. And I'll show you guys a system that allows you to even take your excess gold and have it be bartered with during the same time as AFKing, so you don't lose on any efficiency. And take this time to hit the subscribe button because I have over 600 videos all about cool tricks you can do in survival. And I have a series where I'm trying to make a farm for every single item in the game of Minecraft. First, we'll take a look at all the new bartering loot that you can get from given piglins gold ingots. They added in some new items as well as removed some items, as well as changed the minimum and maximum amounts, and they also changed some weights. And thanks to one of the ProtoTech members' CheaterCodes for looking into the Minecraft code to get all the statistics about the new items. All these with a weight of 40 have about a 9% chance of being given to you with a single barter. So the first change here is to soul sand, which used to come in amounts of double this. Now you should see about half as much soul sand as you used to get. Now soul sand was somewhat useful. You can make like withers out of it, as well as the new soul torches. And you can also make soul campfires, which using that trick you can actually convert them into soul soil. I'll link that video in the description. For obsidian, they kept the same. Same with obsidian. Nether brick, they also half the amounts. Used to be 4 to 16. Now these are used to make the nether bricks as well as nether fences. Most commonly used to make the red nether brick, which looks pretty cool. In ProtoSky, this is one of the few sources we had to actually make slabs, which is very useful for spawn proofing. Leather is another one that they cut the amounts down. It used to be 4 to 10, so they actually cut it more than half. Now there's kind of this joke in Minecraft that everything drops leather, because it almost seems like that, and even phantoms used to drop leather at one time. But it is useful in making books. You get so much of it, and you get it from so many other things in Minecraft. Them lowering down the amounts, probably for the best. Gravel, they kept the same, so still see large amounts of those. This one you'll see the most of actually. Fire charges, they cut down. It used to be amounts between 1 and 5, and now you'll just see 1. Now in ProtoSky, we have tons and tons of fire charges from bartering, and it's not that useful of an item. It's kind of nice that they lowered it down, so you don't just get so clogged up with these. They don't even burn in furnaces, so you really have nothing to do with them. But you could use them to kind of make a firework factory. These aren't like the fireworks they use for like your elytra, but rather the ones you make for a firework display. Now this is one of the new items that is offered. This is blackstone, which is normally only found in the new basalt delta biome in the nether. Not only can you use this to make all the different types of new blackstone variants, including cracked variants as well as polished variants, and slabs, stairs, and walls, but you can also use blackstone like cobblestone in making all the cobblestone tools as well as furnaces and brewing stands. But you still can't use blackstone to make any other type of component that normally uses stone, like pistons, dispensers, droppers, observers. They still only take cobblestone. Now the amounts you get is the same as gravel, same as the weight. So those are the two type of blocks you can get the most of, which is pretty good because it is quite useful. And so is gravel as you use it for like concrete and making coarse dirt. Now if we had started ProtoSky in 1.16.2, we would also have access to this. And we would have stone tools early on, even before we had a cobble generator. This also would give us access to furnaces, which we could use to melt down stuff early game. Now, brewing stands aren't actually too useful in ProtoSky because we don't have access to netherwort. I really wish they made it possible to break down netherwort blocks into netherwort, as you can craft netherwort items into another word block, but not vice versa. Next one is also a new one, which is spectral arrows. These come in amount from 6 to 12, and they also have a weight of 40, same as everything else we've been looking at. So you will get a decent amount of these over time while bartering. Spectral arrows are just like normal arrows, but if you hit your target with them, they will be given the glowing effect for a short period. But most likely these arrows will be used just like normal arrows, especially in speedruns where people are trying to get arrows in order to kill the dragon. This next group we're going to look at, with a weight of 20, have about a 4% chance of being given to you with a single barter. Next up is string, which they changed. They reduced it from 8 to 24 down to 3 to 9. So they reduced it more than half. Now string is pretty useful. You can even craft it into wool or carpets. And on ProtoSky, we use pretty much all our string up as fast as we get it. So this change will be quite noticeable. Next up is the quartz item. They also reduced the amounts on this. It was 8 to 16 and now it's 5 to 12. So not quite cut in half. And quartz is extremely useful not only for making very nice looking builds, but also for a lot of redstone components. So it's disappointing to see that one change. Now there used to be two other items that were in this category of a weight of 20, and that was the glowstone dust and the magma cream. These two have been removed altogether from the bartering trade. Glowstone is useful for making glowstone blocks, spectral arrows, as well as special fireworks, but is most commonly used in brewing to make potions a lot stronger. Now there's other ways you can still obtain glowstone automatically, like with a witch farm or using a raid farm which produces witches. And I'll have a new 1.16 witch farm in the description. And you can still obtain this in the nether just by breaking the generated glowstone. The other item they removed was magma cream, which is useful in making magma blocks. It's also used to make fire resistant potions. Now this really affects ProtoSky, where we have to make magma blocks in order to make a zombified piglin farm without having normal piglins spawn on it. And magma blocks have a lot of other unique properties. But just like the glowstone, you can get this other ways, like you can make a magma cube farm, like I've showed using the new delta biome, or by using the new magma spawners. And I'll have both these farms linked in the description. Now they probably removed these only after the fact that they added these two. They thought there's just too many items being given in one way. And these items are a little bit redundant, but so are some other items, especially the leather. This next category with a weight of 10 have about a 2% chance of being given to you with a single barter. First, we're going to take a look at is ender pearls, which also got reduced. The amounts used to be 4 to 8, now it's 2 to 4, so I got cut in half, but its weight was also 20, and now it got reduced down to 10, so that also got cut. So before there was about a 5% chance of you getting some amount of ender pearls off of one trade, and now it's been cut all the way down to only 2%. So this is a pretty big drop, especially for people that are speedrunning Minecraft and are trying to obtain ender pearls in order to go through the end dimension with Eyes of Ender. Because of this change alone, it's probably not worth playing in 1.16.2 if you're trying to speedrun. Iron Nuggets got a slight change. It was 9 to 36 and now it's 10 to 36, so a slight boost. And these are very useful, especially in ProtoSky where we don't have access to villagers or iron farms until we get 3 emeralds from fox spawns. So this is our main source of iron. Next up is another new one. This is water bottles. They come in amounts of 1. They also have a weight of 10. This is a pretty big, as before there was no other way to get water in the nether dimension other than first going to the overworld. Now one of the Minecraft developers, YulraF, is actually doing a nether only survival series on his Twitch stream. And some of the other developers have been doing some kind of nether only or nether start type of series. This probably also allowed him to kind of understand that it wasn't possible to get water in the nether. Therefore, they tweaked the bartering loot in order to get these type of items. This not only will satisfy their own series, but anyone else who's attempting to do a similar thing will also really enjoy this new feature. Now this could have really drastically changed the way we play ProtoSky if we had started in this version, as we would have had access to the water balls, which could have all been put into a cauldron with 3 layers of water bottles added to it. We can then scoop it up with a bucket and we essentially have a water source even before we leave the nether dimension. And once we did leave the nether, we pretty much immediately have access to cobblestone generator. Instead, we had to put out cauldrons and wait for it to rain, which is a vanilla feature. It takes about 20 hours on average to get enough to make a water source. Now in the past, you used to be able to get water bottles from witches, but now they just drop empty glass bottles. You can still get water bottles from AFK fishing. But this method allows you to do it automatically. You could also take like the witch water bottles and then use a dispenser to pick up water sources to automatically fill them with water, which is a better way to store water bottles, as glass bottles stack to 64 where these stack only in sets of 1. So water bottles do fill up your storage system pretty fast over time. But it is a great way to automatically put them into like a brewing system and brew up different potions using them. And with the change that brewing stands can now be crafted with blackstone, it's possible to do some brewing here in the nether dimension. Next is the potions of fire resistance, both the splash as well as the drinkable ones. They still only drop in amounts of 1, but their weight has been reduced from 10 down to 8, so you won't see them as often. But they are very useful, especially in the nether dimension where there's a lot of fire and lava. Next is the soul speed boots from enchantments from 1 to 3. Nothing really changed about these, and same goes for the very last one and the most rare item, which is the Soul Speed Enchanted Book from level 1 to 3. Now we used to have a lot of other different trades during the snapshots, which I covered in past videos. I have a chart over here showing some of the other stuff you used to get, and that also included in the very beginning chance of getting the netherite hoe, which has been removed from the Java edition, but in the Bedrock edition, they still have the netherite hoe. I feel like they should bring it back because it's really cool to have an extremely rare chance of getting something like a netherite hoe, even if it would happen to be on low durability. But these are all the new bartering loot for 1.16.2. Now, the last time I talked about bartering, we talked about how much you would end up getting if you traded 64 or a stack of gold ingots with a piglin. And in the past, you'd get this many items as well as different types of items on average. This has drastically changes with the reduction of the amounts. So I have a new chest here, which shows the new amounts. So there's old, here are the new ones. So I put them side by side so it's easier to see. These top 3 rows are the old ones, and these bottom 3 rows are the new ones. Soul sand cut in half, the 2 obsidians are the same, netherite cut in half, leather cut in half, gravel's pretty much the same, bar charges got cut quite a bit, so did string. Ender pearls had a huge cut, from getting 18 per stack of gold ingots to only getting 5. This is why it's probably not worth it for speedrunners to use this newer version. Of course, we got the new items, Blackstone and Spectral Arrows compared to the Magma Cream and Glowstone. Nether Quartz got reduction. Iron ingots is pretty much the same. Water bottles and the potions also have, on average, you get about 1 of them. And the soul speed books have about a 75% chance of being attained. So some pretty big changes between 1.16 bartering and 1.16.2 bartering. Now this reduction in amounts was probably a correction that they tried to do with bartering, as after they released it, I've seen a lot of people coming out with videos talking about how bartering was super overpowered and showing all the amounts of items that they got, even with a startup setup. This means bartering Bonanza, my gold and XP farm, will also see a reduction in amounts of items you get. We still get a hefty amount of items which you would want to sort out automatically, so we have designed up a auto sorter during our snapshot stream. Every time a new version is released in Minecraft, we come on to our snapshot testing server where we open it up to the viewers. You guys can join me, and I stream this live as we design new types of farms and machines using the new Minecraft mechanics which were added just hours before. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitch because it's a lot of fun to play with you guys. And I did have quite a few requests asking to make a automatic sorting system for all the bartering loot, and I didn't provide this in the world download for the bartering bonanza. Not only does the sorter sort all the stackable items, but also sorts the non-stackables like the potions, the enchanted books, as well as the enchanted boots. I would recommend hooking this directly up to like my bartering bonanza farm. That way whenever the piglin drops in his bartering loot, it can automatically go through the system and get sorted. So you just have like a hopper that is over here, and you have your piglin standing here. Whenever gold ingots would be dropped by your zombified piglin farm, you would automatically pick them up and then give you some bartering loot. Now one mistake I see people doing is they are collecting all their gold up, which includes all the ingots and also all the nuggets. Then they are crafting everything into ingots, and then they are just dropping all the ingots to their piglin at one time. Now this is actually a very inefficient way to actually barter, because now you are waiting for the piglin to barter through tons and tons of gold all at once. Even if you have multiple pigmen in a row or multiple pigmen in one spot, that is not the right way to efficiently barter with these guys. I've seen people try to do piglins inside of trading halls similar to villagers, but there's a big difference between piglins and villagers. Villagers need the player to actually be able to click on them in order to trade, where piglins do not have to. So you can completely encase a piglin where the player can't even see him or click on him, and you can just give him gold ingots on the side, and he will be able to automatically take them and barter those without the player even having to be there. Because of this, the best reason is to implement your storage system as well as your bartering system into your gold farm. That way it is constantly bartering for the loot while you're running the gold farm. And this is how I did it in the bartering bonanza farm. Now you still will be left over with gold nuggets, which you will have to craft into ingots and then give it to him. But instead of giving him all the gold ingots at once, just put in a little clock that drops him out one every 6 seconds. You don't have to like detect any items coming through or see if the gold is gone before giving him another gold. Just drop one every 6 seconds, and this way he is constantly being fed gold. Now if you're both dropping him gold as well as him picking up gold from the bartering bonanza farm, you might want to slow down the clock a little bit and do about once every 10 seconds. This way he can take in the new gold that you craft up as well as take in any of the gold that comes from the farm. And this is the most efficient way to do it, because at the same time that you're sitting there AFKing at your gold farm, he is constantly bartering. So the gold that you got from like the last session of AFKing your gold farm, you can craft it up, and then the next time you AFK it, you can put that into your timer over here, which will constantly drop it off while you're AFKing it in your new session. Now with 1 stack of gold, you'll get around 393 items. And with bartering bonanza, you will get an average of 370 barters per hour automatically, which comes to an average of 2,240 items per hour. This is way under the limit of a hopper, which is 9,000 per hour. Now bartering bonanza does produce that extra gold nuggets. If you would craft that down into ingots, you would end up with 12 more stacks of ingots to feed into your bartering system. This would give you additional of 4,750 items per hour. So even if you add the 4,700 with the 2,200, you'll get around 7,000 items per hour. This is still under the benchmark of a hopper speed, which is 9,000 items per hour. What this means is that with a single hopper system like this, you can easily sort out all your bartering loot if you operate it smartly. Now in another dimension, we don't have access to water, so all the loot has to be moved by hoppers or by pushing it on ice with slime blocks. But because hoppers are easier to work with, and we figured out that all the items can go through a hopper and still have extra room, this makes a really easy way to build a sorting system. So on the backside here, we have our item sorter, which is sorting out specific items depending on items that are here in the filter hoppers. And this can do anything that can stack in greater amounts than, and the majority of items you get from bartering are stackable. So you can see their illustrations on this side, stuff that can be illustrated with blocks. We try to use those instead of item frames because item frames are entities and can create lag. And down here at this side, here are the new items, which is the blackstone and the spectral arrows. But if you need this for the old system, then you can just put in magma cream as well as glowstone instead of that. After sorting out all of the stackable items, we then have non-stackable item sorters. I've shown quite a few of these in past videos, but we implemented them in such a way that it works really well with this current system. The first thing we sort out is the brewing stuff. Anything that can fit into a brewing stand. This includes the drinkable fire resistance as well as the splash ones and the new water bottles. All these can get pushed into a brewing stand. It sorts them out extremely fast, so it's hard to see, but they all end up in his chest here. And the way that this is done is by having a hopper pointing into that brewing stand, and the hopper underneath, which could pull out the item, is actually being locked, so it can't. It's only being locked for a short period of time. Once the item is detected in this hopper, this system will turn off, allowing anything that didn't make it into the brewing system to be able to get pulled down into the next section. Now if you want to, you can sort out these potion types even more. Let's say you don't want the fire resistance because you just get too much of it. By dropping it out with the dispenser, any ones that are throwable or the splash variants will just break. Then ones that are like the drinkables, which includes the fire resist potion and the water balls, will end up down here in the hopper. Then you can take those potions and put them into a brewing stand, and you can brew up the water bottles just like a normal potion. You will be kind of wasting some materials on these other ones, which end up inside of the same brewing stand. But you can see it doesn't actually affect this one, but this one can still get its new potion effect, which is an awkward potion. Then you could come in with another type of potion brewing, and once again it won't affect this potion, but you'll be able to apply it to the new potion. Now that turned into night vision. You can still use these water bottles to automatically brew potions, even if there is some fire resist potions in there at the same time. So after the system sorts out all the potion types, the items come down here into this dispenser here. And this is where it will sort out the books away from the enchanted boots. The way this system works is just like my armor stand armor sorter, which sorts out all the different types of armor into their unique armor slots. What we have here is a dispenser that tries to apply the boots onto an armor stand. Of course, if it's not a boot, then it fails and it ends up shooting the book out, which falls into this hopper here. We'll see the items come in and get dispensed onto armor stand if they can. They can't be dispensed. What happens is they just fly past and fall into the hopper. The top dispenser here is one that contains the boots or the books. The bottom one here just contains armor stands. Detects that there is items in the system when something comes into this dispenser, comes around and will put out the armor stand and then the boots or a book afterwards. And since we don't know if it is a book or a boot, each time we do dispense the armor stand and try to put it onto it. The armor stand is placed here in front of this dispenser, which puts it kind of mid-air. Allows it to be up in the air high enough so that the boots can be placed onto it. Then it falls down a little ways, and by the time it reaches down here, we shoot out one of the spectral arrows that we got sorted out from the system, and we use that to actually break the armor stand. Then when the armor stand and boots are broken off, they fall into these hoppers here. And the items falling off the armor stands always fall in the same order, so the armor stand is first in the hopper and then the boots. This allows us to pipe the armor stands over and then after a short period release it so the boots can go down into the storage over here. This is the same method we use for our armor sorter using armor stands. I'll link those videos in the description. Then the armor stands are put over here and piped back up again to be reused over and over again. The books that don't make it into the armor stands end up over here in this chest, and they get piped around here into this chest in front. That's how you can sort the enchanted books away from the enchanted boots. And one thing different from my armor sorters is that I have the armor stand kind of being placed mid-air and then broken when it falls downwards. This allows us so the armor stand breaks and the items will fall downwards into these hoppers, and this copper prevents the items from flying upwards into this hopper. That way I don't have to use any type of pistons to move the armor stand into a new area before breaking it. Now there still will be variations of what level enchantments, like I said, it could be from level 1 to 3. Same thing goes for the boots. It could be from 1 to 3. And all the chests end up kind of here on this side, so you can make probably some staircases right here so you can get down to these lower ones, or you can pipe the items back up here so all in the same level. And I'll show you guys how you can implement this into the bartering bonanza. So here's the bartering bonanza with the auto sorting implemented into here. I also added in a system to automatically put your own gold ingots into the bartering system. Go ahead and give it a try. Be down in here, survival, get your snowball and hit one of these guys, start up these guys being mad at you. Of course we get all the XPs and the gold ingots are automatically being sorted by the bartering guy. You can see all the pigmen running towards the player that they're aggroed at. And with the new storage built in, they shouldn't really jump down here unless the player leaves. If you want to stop the farm, just fly away with your elytra or jump down and land on something safe down below. Whenever a gold ingot is dropped, this piglin here will be able to pick it up just like so and be able to barter, all automatically without the player having to craft. And then his items that he drops will automatically be picked up by the hopper and placed down here, going through all these hoppers here. And then it gets sorted out by the sorting system that we added in. It's the exact same one from the other world. There's also a system over here where you can turn your nuggets. So the nuggets end up over here. You can take them, craft them into ingots. Then you can place them into the system over here. This will automatically detect them and then drop them off about once every 12 seconds over here. And that way you can get this guy to barter at the exact same time that AFKing it. You don't have to wait later on. You don't even have to take your gold to a special bartering spot, as that's not very efficient. Way more efficient to implement it directly into your gold farm. Now with this up here, you definitely want to implement in a lot of storage, especially for the non-stackables, as they take up a lot of room. Now there is a bug where the piglins will try to attack people that are in creative, or if you switch dimensions, they'll still try to be aggroed towards that person who's not even in this dimension. So they end up doing really weird stuff like this. Now in the video where I talk about the bartering bonanza, I'll also add a second world download that includes the storage system. And in this video description, I'll add a world download for the testing world. And if you're wondering how to build up the simple yet extremely efficient golden XP farm, one of the ProtoTech members, Moleful, is going to have a tutorial on his channel, which I'll link down in the description. If you want the zombie pigments to not get stuck in the minecarts down here, you could make them slightly more expensive by putting in like hopper minecarts or chest minecarts. Some mobs are unable to ride them. Don't forget to share this video with your favorite Minecrafter, as that is the best way you can support me. As well as leave a like on the video. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this bartering setup, as well as the changes made to bartering. I would like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye!